Carson Wentz's bad luck with his backups outperforming him while he is injured and then eventually taking his starting job continues, as Ron Rivera confirmed today that quarterback Taylor Heinicke is the starter going forward. Well, at least for this weekend against the Houston Texans, where Carson Wentz was supposed to make his return after suffering a finger injury earlier on in the season. Taylor Heinicke has gone 3-1 in that time, beating a few teams like the Green Bay Packers and just defeated the undefeated Philadelphia Eagles just a few days ago on Monday Night Football. Now Taylor Heinicke, the guy, which means that Carson Wentz will unlikely see the field again this season for the Washington Commanders, unless Taylor Heinicke would unfortunately suffer an injury. Carson Wentz likely done for the rest of the season for the Washington football team. Now, for Washington, Taylor Heinicke has been there for several years. He has gone through and seen Dwayne Haskins be a project and a failure, and then also with Ryan Fitzpatrick being signed onto the team, and then Ryan Fitzpatrick suffering a hip injury just a few years ago, and then Taylor Heinicke being the guy after that. The Washington football team has never had full confidence in Taylor Heinicke being their starter, but while he was their starter, he's always showed glimpses of a little bit of magic, of being a good game manager, of winning them a few games, and actually keeping them in a good spot a few years ago in the playoffs against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in that COVID year where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers would eventually go on to win the Super Bowl with Tom Brady his first year there. People forget that the Redskins at the time, or the football team maybe, Taylor Heinicke was a starter in the playoffs for that game and actually kept the football team in a good spot close in that game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But now Taylor Heinicke finally being named the starter going forward for the Washington football team. Carson Wentz has suffered a terrible amount of bad luck. All kind of started in Philadelphia when he tore his ACL when he was having an MVP caliber season, and Nick Foles stepping up and having that legendary playoff run for the Eagles, and then eventually beating the New England Patriots in the Super Bowl, which then landed Carson Wentz in Indianapolis, and then wasn't necessarily replaced by a backup, but just bad quarterback play for the Colts. The Colts made the decision to trade Carson Wentz to the Washington football team and look for a more star-studded veteran in Matt Ryan, which actually is still a project going forward in Indianapolis currently. But Carson Wentz, let's go ahead and take a look at what that deal was that the Washington football team gave up for Carson Wentz. So just last offseason, the Colts traded Carson Wentz and a second-round pick for this year and a seventh-round pick in 2022. And then in return, the Washington Commanders giving up a haul, a 2022 second-round pick, a 2022 third-round pick, and then a 2023 conditional third-round pick that would turn into a second-round pick if Carson Wentz were to play 70% of the snaps this season. But now with Heinicke likely being the starter for the rest of the 2022 season, that will likely stay a third-round pick. Carson Wentz benched for Taylor Heinicke officially. Unless Taylor Heinicke does suffer an injury, then Carson Wentz could see the field again. But Heinicke now the guy in Washington. What do you think about this move? Do you think that Taylor Heinicke should have been the guy in Washington for a few years now? What do you think about Carson Wentz getting benched? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. But if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. Share it with a friend who you think would enjoy it. Subscribe to this channel if you're new, and we'll talk to you again soon.